The golden rule, you've seen the movies. You've heard the oaths. Blood in, blood out. Never rat on your friends. Always keep your mouth shut. Those are the rules for the soldiers. The guys on the street, but there's a higher rule. A golden rule for the guys at the top, the bosses, the chairman, the dons. It's a rule that isn't written in any FBI file, but it's the only one that determines if a boss dies in a mansion in Sicily or a concrete cell in ADX Florence. The rule is this: never believe your own myth. It sounds simple, right? Don't get an ego, but when you have 500 men ready to kill for you, 10 million in cash under the floorboards, and the police on your payroll, staying humble isn't just hard, it's impossible. Today, we're looking at the fatal flaw of power. We're going to look at the exact moment guys like John Gotti, Pablo Escobar, and Joe Massino broke the one rule that mattered. And I am going to show you why you're probably breaking that same rule in your own life right now. Stick around. This is the heavy stuff, the trap of the chairman. Let's talk about how it starts. You start a business, or you take over a crew. You're hungry. You're sharp. You listen to everyone because you know you don't know everything yet. That's your superpower, but then you win. In the Mafia, winning means you stop being the guy doing the hits and start being the guy ordering them. You become the oracle. Your underbosses come to you for every decision. Your capos laugh at all your jokes, even the bad ones, especially the bad ones. The strategy of the Underworld: a boss's greatest asset is information flow. But the moment you start believing you're the smartest guy in the room, the information stops. Why? Because your circle stops telling you the truth. They start telling you what makes you happy. Think about Joe Bonanno. He wanted to be the boss of all bosses. He believed he was a man of tradition and honor while he was secretly plotting to kill his fellow board members. He believed his own myth so much that he didn't see the rebellion coming from his own son's friends. The relatable lesson: are you at a point in your career or life where you've stopped listening? Are you surrounding yourself with yes men? In the mob, that's called a death sentence. In your life, it's called stagnation, the Gotti effect. Visibility is vulnerability. If you want to see this rule being broken in real time, look at the dapper Don, John Gotti. Gotti broke the rule of low profile. He loved the myth of the untouchable boss. He wore the $2,000 Brioni suits. He walked out of courtrooms and gave quotes to reporters. He became a celebrity. But here's the underworld economic reality: celebrity is expensive. When Gotti believed the myth that he was bigger than the law, he forced the FBI to spend every cent they had to take him down. If he had stayed in the shadows like Carlo Gambino, a man who looked like a retired gardener but controlled the whole city, he might have died a free man. The business stress: when you flex too hard, you invite audit, whether it's the IRS, a competitor, or a jealous friend. Gotti forgot that he was a criminal leader, not a movie star. He started performing for the cameras. And while he was performing, his underboss, Sammy the Bull, was listening to the FBI's tapes. Tip number 1 for power: stay invisible as long as possible. The moment you start wanting the credit for your success, you've handed your enemies a target. The paranoia pivot: when loyalty turns to fear. When a boss breaks the rule and starts believing they are the empire, they stop trusting the system that got them there. They stop trusting loyalty and start relying on fear. Look at the last Don, Joe Massino. He was the boss of the Bonanno family. He was so paranoid about the FBI that he wouldn't even let his men say his name. They had to touch their ear to refer to him. He believed the myth that he was the only one who could survive. But when you rule by fear, you create turncoats. If your men think you lines, kill them on a whim because you've become a god in your own mind. They won't go to the grave for you. They'll go to the district attorney. Massino became the first sitting boss of a New York family to flip and become a witness. The man who believed in the rules more than anyone broke them all because his ego told him his life was more valuable than the family. The relatable example: have you ever worked for a boss who was so insecure they micromanaged everything? That's Messino energy. It destroys morale. It makes the best people quit, or in the Mafia's case, it makes them wear a wire. The 5 steps to protect your empire. So, how do you avoid the boss's curse? How do you make sure you don't pay the price for breaking this rule? Here is the strategy of the survivors. Step 1. Hire a devil's advocate. Every great boss needs a consigliere, someone whose only job is to tell them no if everyone in your life is saying yes. You're in danger. Step 2. Watch the small money. Bosses fall when they think they're too big for the details. Whether it's a construction kickback or your monthly subscriptions, the moment you stop watching the economics, the leak starts. Step 3. Kill the ego, feed the team. The best bosses in history, the ones you've never heard of, gave the credit to their capos. If your team feels like they are the kings, they will protect your throne. Step 4. Keep the shadow profile. True power is felt, not seen. If you have to tell people you're the boss, you aren't. Step 5. Audit your loyalty. Check in with your people. Not through fear, but through value. Give them a reason to stay that is bigger than a paycheck. Summary and the call to action. The Mafia is a brutal world, but it's a perfect mirror for the corporate world we live in today. The one rule every boss breaks: believing their own myth, is the same reason startups fail, marriages crumble, and empires fall. Power doesn't make you invincible. It makes you a bigger target. If you're winning right now, I'm happy for you. But do yourself a favor. Look in the mirror tonight. Ask yourself if you're still the sharp, hungry kid who started this journey, or if you've started believing the stories people tell about you. The strategy for tonight: take one person you trust and ask them, what am I doing wrong that nobody is telling me? It's a terrifying question, but it's the only way to stay out of the trap. If you want to keep analyzing the mechanics of power, you're in the right place. Subscribe to Mafia Power Files. We dissect the strategy, the economics, and the psychology of the underworld so you can apply those lessons to your own world. New files drop every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday at 7 p.m. Stay humble. Stay sharp, and for God's sake, keep your mouth shut. I'll see you in the next file.